Stan, what do you do when people steal your stuff? I mean, I had this great workshop. It was really good, and I put it out there, and it wasn't too long that I found somebody had actually taken most of the stuff and was using it themselves and taking credit for it. It was just terrible. What do you do when people take your good stuff, your good ideas, and they steal it and use it, and you don't get any credit for it alone, any cash for it? What do you do when people steal your good stuff? Well, every entrepreneur needs to know about stealing stuff. And not that you'll ever do it yourself, I hope, but it will be done to you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how you can start to handle that right now on the Jesus Entrepreneur, because we want to do it truly His way. Yes, indeed. My name is Stan Houston, and that's what they said to me. And in fact, someone asked me that question just today because they've got a lot of good stuff from their years of experience, and they wonder what might happen if I do what you suggest, Dan, and actually write a book, maybe put together a class or a course, or do what you did. You put it out there, your 7 things. I mean, that's pretty good stuff. And how do you keep it from being stolen and used by other people? Well, if you're an entrepreneur, you are a creator. And there are things that happen like that. And that's why supposedly there are patents that you try and get, and sometimes there are registered trademarks that you try to have. But if you've done something good, there's a good chance somebody's going to try and take it away from you. And how do you deal with that? How do you protect yourself in that way? How do you respond when that happens? Well, this is a program that is designed to help you try and be at your best and sometimes respond the way Jesus would like you to respond. But you're in the marketplace. And the marketplace is anything but a nice place most of the time. And you all know that. It's a difficult place. There are lots of crooks and cons and corruptions, and there are people who don't mean the best for you or for their customers or their clients. They truly are in it for number one. Hey, we come your way from tcenglobal.org, tcenglobal.org, and you see a variety of our stuff there. And we have 7 unique services. And I guarantee you that at least one of them is probably just right for you. Maybe more than that. Because today, because of the way things have changed, you're going to have to learn how to prepare yourself for the Internet-connected experience economy and be able to market, distribute, demonstrate, and get paid on something, and oftentimes that something is going to be Internet-connected, experience-related. Otherwise, it's just a mere commodity, and if you're selling a commodity, the big boys who cheat usually win. I'm sorry, but that happened to me just today. The big boys who cheat oftentimes win. And we got cheated. And I won't go into details. I won't give you the name of the company. Many of you would know them well. But it happened. And right now, my colleagues and I are trying to figure out how, if any way, we can respond to what they kind of stupidly and certainly selfishly did. Well, let me just try and put it in this framework. When Jesus said, through himself and through his life, and certainly through those people who followed him and taught from him, there was a part of it that says, count it all joy. Now, if there is ever a hard commandment, that is it. Count it all joy. Jesus, you've got to be kidding me. You don't really mean that, do you? Well, we all have problems with counting it all joy, particularly in some of the situations that we're all going through right now. But maybe I can put a few things in perspective that might be helpful and may be useful to you. The first thing is simply an acknowledgement of reality. My wife one time, I got a call from her, and she said, "Stan, you wouldn't believe it. My boss just got this handout, and he was involved in the insurance business, and I had done a lot of speaking with the insurance and financial services business." And she said, "There's this guy who's written this big article." And she said, "Stan, he stole it from you. He almost uses some of the same words you do. He stole it from you. What are we going to do?" And I just smiled and said, "We're not going to do anything." And then I remember when one of my friends, a very dear friend, and had become a dear friend after becoming one of my valued coaching clients, she called me up one time and said, "Stan, I can't believe it. I'm here at this conference, this workshop, and the speaker who just put on quite a show and obviously got paid a lot of money, there's no question. He stole your stuff. He stole your stuff." I remember when you talked about that some time ago and you put it out there. He stole it and he's passing it off as his own. Well, that has happened. Now let me tell you something that you need to know about life. If you're any good, people will steal it. That's just the way it is. There used to be perhaps an ethos that hey, plagiarism was a bad thing to do. Obviously, even worse than that, just actually not only plagiarizing it, but not taking any credit for it, in fact, profiting from it. That just was not to be. Well, of course, in polite and good and hopefully Christian company and ethical company, that's still the case. But let me be very honest with you. The degradation of the culture has been accelerated by the internet and by the less civility and the less Christian virtues that we practice in the public square. Let me tell you, if you have something worthwhile, you can be guaranteed that somebody will copy it in whole, in part, in some way, package it their own way, put their own little face on it, and do it. And of course, if confronted with that, they will remind you that ideas cannot be copyrighted, and that is correct. Ideas cannot be copyrighted, and that they just took the idea and they gave it their own interpretation or their own application or whatever. And who is to say that's right or wrong or what? It happens. So I've just simply come to the conclusion that I share with you. Do good stuff. Create good stuff. Make sure that you are gaining the advantage in life by trying to demonstrate your wisdom and insight, by having new ideas, by creating new things that are valuable to people and give value to people. You are that called person to do that. Not just to move stuff, manage stuff, mess around with stuff. You are called to be a creator, and creators will have their stuff stolen. And I deal with it. Now, there are certain ways that I can begin to change that. First of all, that means that I have to be ahead of the thieves. In fact, I'll give them credit for helping keep me motivated. Now, one of the reasons I like to go to the radio is I can put my ideas out there right away. I don't have to type them up. I don't have to write them down. One of the reasons I'm teaching you to be a radio expositor, communicator, is because communication is everything. And this is point of the moment communication. I'm not taking time to type this all out and proof it. This is something that came to me on Wednesday afternoon, and it's on the air, and it's out there, and it's relevant to you, and it's even relevant to the person who asked me the question right now. But what happens, because I know that my stuff is going to be copied, is I have to keep ahead of the game. I have to continually not be resting on what I do, not resting on my old stuff, not going back. The old joke about the pastor or the teacher who drags out their old class note, their old lecture notes, or their old sermons and just recycles them. That was never my deal. In fact, I oftentimes discipline myself that I would take my teaching notes from a year of working hard to provide that material. Oftentimes I would take them and I'd throw them out. Now, hopefully a lot of that is still in my head and my heart and my knowledge, but I knew that if I wanted to stay fresh, it would not be because I went and grabbed last year's notes and just kind of, did a little update on them or read them again. I knew I had to have that idea put in a new context and to keep it fresh. So you need to learn to update your stuff daily, all the time. And you need to communicate it. If you do nothing but the radio program for you, just sit down and speak your good stuff, and it's there. It's in tape, on the record for you. You see, what I did today is for you, but it's also for me, because it helps keep me fresh and going. Second thing, first of all, after I've kept going, I need to make sure that my stories are really personal. Your ideas must be contexted with and surrounded with stories. And storytelling is the only effective means of communication. And so I know that my good idea, if I just stole it from somebody, I don't have the story to make it come alive. And so since it's my story, there was a place and a space and a way that came into my heart, mind, and spirit. And so I have to make sure that my illustrations and my points have my stories. As I oftentimes say, is they can argue with your facts and opinions, but they can't argue with your story. It's yours. It's true. It's real. So my stuff has to be well storied. Okay, you got that now? Well storied. Thirdly, principle 1 in the 7 practices is you have to serve somebody. And let me tell you, one of the best ways to keep it fresh is to know who you're trying to serve that day. And because your ideas and your facts and those things that are there, if the stories are real, they will also change, or they will also have new meaning when you understand who they are for on that day. And so that gives me a little freshness to it, because I'm always saying it's not about me spilling my stuff. It's about me serving them. And that helps. Number 4, if you've done the Trinity, they can't steal your soul. The purpose of all good communication is not just to reach the head, it's to touch the heart. Can I say that again? The purpose of all good communication is not to touch the head, reach the head, go through the head, go into the ears. It's to touch the heart. Principle number 2 says we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And it is only when you take care of your soul in spirit-led prayers, in keeping it hopefully warm and fresh and open to God's things. It can be the same ideas. They can even steal some of the stories. But you know what's going to make the difference? Is if your stuff comes truly from the heart of your soul. And they cannot steal. Ever. Because that belongs to you. And if it's given to God, it is in mighty protective custody. For sure. Minutes today. That was the question. What do you do if people steal your stuff, and how can you prevent them? And of course, the answer is you can't. But you can, in the midst of it, make sure that they can never get all of it, because they cannot get all of you when they do that. My name is Stan Houston. I hope this little advice has been helpful to you. It comes from many, many years of life and business and teaching, of great triumph and great tragedy, of great pain, of some suffering, in the midst of a number of victories. I am convinced in all things that I have to maintain the spirit that no matter what happens to me, even when my stuff is stolen and the cash is low, that we are more than conquerors. To Him that loved us so. Even when your stuff is stolen, God still loves you, and He smiles because you made good stuff. Stuff that was worth stealing by someone. And we can all smile together over that thievery. Please be in touch with me. RadioEdge77@gmail.com. RadioEdge77@gmail.com. Give me more of your questions, and I'll see what I can do. Here we go. Let me look at the clock. Hey, we made it under 20 minutes again. That's what I do. A little talk, under 20 minutes, like a TED Talk. We sometimes call it a WIT Teach About, wisdom, insight, and truth. Little what it takes, teach about. That's what we're all about. And so we'd like to hear from you. I'd like you to go to tcenglobal.org and find out more of what we do. I want to be the person who helps you. That, remember, this is the spirit home of the startup nation. And if you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to start over, if you're trying to do those things that will give you the right stuff that won't be stolen so that you can build your business, I can help you in a variety of ways, and I'd love to do that. Again, very simply, RadioEdge77@gmail.com, RadioEdge77@gmail.com. Would you like to write a book? I can help you do that. Would you like to have a podcast just like this? We can help you do that. Would you like an online course? There's 25,000 people who get me online. Would you like to be an online teacher? Would you like to have a really great classroom course for your business, but you can't quite handle it? Well, I can do that for you. I can just kind of step in and create that class and course for you. Would you like a YouTube channel that really will build your business? Would you like to know how you can have a website that is awesome? Look at my awesome website. Isaac did that for me. I can't do it, but I delegate everything but my genius, and Isaac, my web guy, is a genius. And you know what? He'll do the same thing for you. So thank you very, very much. All the best and blessings. Till next time, bye for now.